still on his feet, inside the 20, 15, 10, he's in, touchdown Ram.
Now they'll try to toss it for Yarborough, touchdown! Wow, what a catch! Cuts at the 5, ball loose, and Dukeman catches it for a score. Step up, gets hit as he throws, looking to the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Bruins! What a catch by Alexander!
10, 5, touchdown!
25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, A.J. Turner!
And here come the Cougar Nation. Northern Region champs.
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present high school football. This exclusive broadcast is being powered by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Get back in the game of life. Manhattan Pizza, now serving Ashburn, South Riding, and Leesburg with the best dang pizza in the world. Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Gameday Broadcast Network. Diamond Sports Training, train with DST Performance today. Bellator Sports Memorabilia, the premier sports memorabilia store in Northern Virginia. EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end zone camera system on the market. The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care. Quarterback University, take your skill to the next level and enhance your future today. By Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. Max Muscle, partners in health. Atlanta Bread Company of Sterling. Come for the food, stay for the culture.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Gameday All-Access right here on the Gameday Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Andy Hayes, joined as usual by Bruce Bornarth. But tonight, we have a new co-host, Madison Summers. Back after reading the mailbag last week, we decided to give you a little bit more of an advanced role here on the show. Kick Taylor Jensen to the side. Bruce, Madison did a great job last week. She's back for show number 2. Taylor's getting a little nervous right now.
Well, it's definitely an upgrade to the set here. I'm just feel fortunate and lucky that I still got my seat.
Yeah, well, depending on how you do tonight, that could change as well. Madison, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, can't complain. We had a great week last week of high school football, and we're here to break it all down and get ready for some big games coming up here on Friday night. And Madison's got the keys to the show tonight. So, Madison, what's the first game we're talking about?
Let's head out to Leesburg with Tuscarora putting away Loudoun County 48-14.
Great game for the Huskies. They moved to 6-0 here at Bruce Bornarth. 6-0, Michael Burnett's team. A lot of people probably didn't think that would be possible with their schedule strength, but they took care of business. This was probably the first game in this rivalry that was not close in the past few years since they first opened 4 years ago. Your thoughts?
Well, if you didn't think Tuscarora was going to take care of business at this point, you didn't pay attention to Michael Burnett, number 1, at Broad Run. First go-around in the county. He is right on pace. That's not he. That staff is right on pace with where they were at Broad Run with good things to come. And let's not forget, Loudoun County's playing up a level this year as well against Tuscarora.
That's very true. Listen, Noah Reimers and crew took care of business, and that's what you do when you're a great football team. They're showing that when they are in games they're supposed to win, they are taking care of it and doing it impressively. So a big win for them, 48-14. Again, 6-0 with Broad Run coming up for Tuscarora. All right, where are we going next, Madison?
Oakton wins 4th in a row, 21-6 over Woodson.
Well, here's another team that's hot right now. The Oakton Cougars really off to a great start after that first loss of the year to T.C. Williams. By the way, Bruce, I think probably the most underappreciated team on our network is Oakton. But year after year, Jason Riley's club, they figure out a way to win football games. They're doing it again defensively, giving up only 6 to Woodson here on the road. You got to be impressed with Oakton.
Yeah, not by me underestimating them anymore. Ever since week 1, when I kind of came down hard on them, accept my apologies. You throw all the crow in the mud at me you want because I deserve it. But you talk about Oakton. And when we talk about second half teams, we don't really talk about Oakton that much. You know, we bring up the battlefields. We look at the Stonebridges that get better towards the end of the season. All of the teams that you would think we would talk about. But Oakton, really, if you look back at over historically, other than that little bit of collapse at the end of last season, Oakton is one of those teams that's better at the end of the season than they are at the beginning of the season.
Well, and they turned it around in the postseason
Yes,
to set the
exactly.
record straight and won the Northern Region Championship. But I'll tell you, the guy that's really starting to come on for Oakton, watching the film, is Michael Fakara, the quarterback. He's starting to kind of settle in, and that's a great thing for Cougar fans because, again, a new starter, it takes him a little bit of time for the game to slow down for him. And once it does, look out, they start making plays, and Michael's really doing a great job for this offense. So Oakton, 4th win in a row. Now they get to head into Concord play with Chantilly on the horizon. We'll talk about that in our picks of the week.
Next, we have Lake Braddock rolls over West Potomac 58-0.
Yeah, and this was kind of what we expected to happen here in this game. Now, that said, Des Moines Pearsonell did not play in this ballgame. So that was a key point here to mention because he's a difference maker. But Lake Braddock right now, playing like a favorite, playing like a team that still has a chip on their shoulder a little bit. They're tired of hearing about Westfield and Centerville and all these other teams in the Concord District. Lake Braddock showing that they are a team to look out for. Bruce, they're taking care of business as well.
Well, we're halfway through +1 at this point, and now we, anyway, outside of the programs, can start looking ahead at the postseason. And Lake Braddock is one of those teams. Everybody knows how good Centerville is right now. Centerville's #1 in the power poll for a reason. But I'm going to tell you what, right at their heels, I think, is Lake Braddock. And they're not a team that you want to play the rest of this season or in the playoffs.
A big looming rivalry game with South County in the Patriot District. That's coming up in a couple weeks. Keep your eye on that. Probably the next time, and maybe the last time in the regular season that Lake Braddock is tested.
McLean outscores Herndon 42-27.
And this was a high-scoring game. Bruce, I don't know that we expected it to be like this, but McLean really showing that they've got some offensive capabilities. Herndon's still struggling to stop folks right now defensively, and I think that's really what has been the Achilles heel of this team this year. They have been able to put some points on the board, but they have not been able to keep people out of the end zone. McLean with a great offensive performance in this game. And again, they're impressing. They've got Stonebridge coming to town, but a 42-point showing on offense tells you that this McLean team probably better than people are giving them credit for.
Well, it's a process for Coach Brian Day at Herndon in his second year there.
Right.
I think building and changing really the culture there. Herndon has been a basketball school as long as anybody can remember. He's there to change the culture, and he's doing it. And you've got to do it one step at a time. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And you have to just go step by step. You can't expect this to happen in chunks. It's good news, and it's nice to see this Herndon offense coming on, scoring 27 points this week. From McLean's standpoint, this is a program that we don't really talk about a whole lot, but we really should start. The way they've played the past couple of weeks, they're getting better and better.
Yeah, no question about it. I think those close games have really helped them out here. I just can't get over the deep thoughts that you just had a second ago. I mean, I can't believe you remember that. I'm learning something right here. I'm motivated from Bruce Bornarth. Are you ready, Madison?
I'm ready.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Next, we have Sharando beating Liberty 45-23.
And the jinx continues for Liberty. I mean, Bill Hall and the Sharando Warriors know how to beat the Liberty Eagles. And they've shown it now since 2004. Liberty has been a big goose egg in this rivalry game. I mean, they play each other every year, and they just have not been able to come up with a recipe to beat the Warriors. Reed Inspinning, another good game here in this one. The defense for Sharando playing well. Bruce, they got to go back to the drawing board or something because this matchup for them, whatever it is between Liberty and Sharando, is not good for the Eagles.
Yeah, for all of us that thought this was going to be a tough game to pick last week and one of the better games on the schedule, how'd that work out for us? Yeah, not so well. It's weird. You almost can't explain it because it's different players. You go through graduation. It's been different coaching staffs around, and yet it still happens. And I don't know if it's one of those things that kind of gets in the minds of the players that come on, and every year it just kind of builds more and more. Well, we haven't ever beaten Sharando. And if you don't get off to a great start and things don't go well, then it's like, oh, well, we're not supposed to beat Sharando. It has to be a mindset.
Well, it's certainly going in the way of the Warriors right now. They got a nice little win streak going here in this ball game.
Next, we have Robinson continuing to score, beating Lee 56-35.
Well, I tell you, the Robinson Rams right now, the team that nobody's talking about from the Concord, that you better get your eyes on right now because they are scoring points in droves and they're running the football and they've gotten a little healthier in the backfield with Joe Wilson coming back. Avon Johnson really having a great season as well. This Robinson team, Bruce, I'm telling you, I think people are overlooking them a little bit. That's going to be a mistake.
Well, yeah, you can say they're overlooking Robinson, and Robinson is good. No question about that. There's a question about them coming up later in the show. But Lee, go look at the numbers this season. Weren't they in a 73-61 game? Weren't they in a 61-point game the next week? Now they're giving up 56 points this week. Who's playing defense at Lee? Yeah. Anybody?
Well, they're having trouble stopping the run. I mean, and giving up a lot of big plays, and I think that is, obviously something they got to get corrected here if they're going to take down some of these bigger programs that they play.
You could run on them.
But they score. No, I couldn't. They score a lot of points. You got to be impressed with their offense. They just got to tighten it up on the defensive side.
Next we have Westfield capitalizes on turnovers, beats Stonebridge 30-6.
Yeah, and this was a shocker. And I'll tell you, Madison, bless her heart, she's having a hard time with this one. She's a Stonebridge student, and probably hated to see her Bulldogs go down like this. Bruce, you called this game. Give the people the 4-1-1 on this one.
You can say this a lot of times, and a lot of times it really doesn't have any meaning or doesn't hold water. This game was closer than the score looks, even though it took a long time for Stonebridge to get on the board. Westfield goes down. They score early in the first quarter. Stonebridge is driving, coming down the field. It looks like they're getting ready to tie the game. Fumble, return 96 yards for a touchdown, and really you look back on it, and one play changed, I think, the whole course of that game. And it doesn't happen that often. You can come back from it. Every time it seemed that Stonebridge was coming back, something happened. A penalty, a turnover. In my opinion, a bad spot on a fourth down play attempt. But what I really took away from this game was the play of the two sophomore quarterbacks, Joe Thompson for Stonebridge and Billy Pickett for Westfield. Pickett didn't even know he was going to start until less than a half an hour before game time because Scoville was dressed, went through warm-ups and everything like that. The starting quarterback, these two guys didn't make a mistake. They didn't win or lose this game on their play. In fact, you sat back when the game was over and you looked, wow, these programs are in good hands at the quarterback position because both of those guys can play. Didn't make any mistakes, made the plays when they had to.
Well, that's the thing that I took away from it, too. I mean, you really expected Westfield to struggle without their starting quarterback. I mean, Mason coming on a little bit last couple of weeks, and you thought, oh, my goodness, I mean, this is Stonebridge. I mean, you don't go into the Stonebridge game without your starting quarterback. But Pickett played like a seasoned veteran. Now, he's got two older brothers, by the way, by the name of Johnny and Artie that played at Westfield, and we called their games. This young man's a gamer now. He's not nervous about anything, and that's typically how it is, the third guy down the line here in the family. He showed great poise all night long. And I think, if you're Kyle Simmons, you now know that if you have a quarterback issue with a health injury or something like that, you're okay. And that's a great thing to know as you move forward here this season. Tough one for Stonebridge. We'll see how they regroup. I think they'll get going. But this is a confidence booster for Westfield heading into Centerville. And that'll lend us, a little bit of insight, maybe how it might go this week. That defense is going to have to play really good, right, Madison? Because Centerville put some points up, didn't they?
Yeah. Next we have Centerville puts Chantilly away early 42-0.
Well, this was over in the first half. Bruce, I called this game, and I can't tell you how many times I've called a blowout this year, but I think it's every week. I can't buy a good game. And you keep getting some good ones, and so does Justin and all the other guys here on the network. But I thought for sure Chantilly would give these guys a little bit more of a test, and it just didn't happen. And the one thing you came away from this game feeling like was that Centerville can do whatever they want offensively. You can't stop them. I want to see the defense that stops Centerville. I don't think there is one that we're going to see in this area that does it. Now, Westfield, right now, they're pounding their chest a little bit saying, we'll do it. We've done it before. We'll do it again. But I don't think it can be done. There's too many great players.
I would have to agree with you. I think that the gap this year between the best teams in the area, and I think you would have to say Centerville, Lake Braddock, right?
I honestly think it's Centerville, and that's everybody else.
Well, and Lake Braddock is the next tier, and then there's everybody else.
Right.
Usually, that gap between the number one team in the area and the rest of the field isn't as wide as I think it is this year.
Yeah.
Chantilly, don't feel bad. I mean, you're still a great program. This is just one of those years. You're not in the boat alone when it comes to getting handed to by Centerville.
Well, we'll say this. Great atmosphere. Both sides came out to support in this game. great signs out there. Bruce, you had a sign. Somebody from Chantilly took offense to your comment last week and pasted your picture on top of somebody carving a turkey. You know, you said something about getting a thermometer for your mom's turkey at Thanksgiving. That was there. Also, there was the Bruce listens to Nickelback, which I got to ask my younger sons what that's all about.
I don't get that. They didn't go far enough back. They should have said Jimi Hendrix or something like that.
That could have been, that could have been more of a slight for you. Then they had an Andy Who sign back for Chantilly. Now on the other side, the Centerville fans, Wildcat Nation, had a King Andy sign. They posted this up there on the web for us to see before the game. They said, "Where are you guys? Where's Bruce at?" I said,
I saw that.
Bruce does not come to the games where he talks the most trash. He's a lot smarter than I am. He just doesn't show up.
That's not true. Now you're making it sound like
I'm
won't
just saying.
post.
No, that's right.
I'll post. I'll take it when I've earned it.
I don't think you'll walk in the place when you call Chantilly out like you did. I don't think you do it.
Why not?
I don't think you're brave enough.
You won't send me anywhere.
You
keep snaking all the games.
We'll do that. So, yeah, I keep getting all the good ones. 42-0, right? All right, that's it for our first segment here on Game Day All Access. Nice job, Madison. Don't go anywhere, though. You ready for Inside the Huddle?
I'm ready.
All right, we're coming back with Inside the Huddle. We'll play a little buy or sell. Some great questions here today. That's coming up next here, right after this.
The Game Day Broadcast Network is proud to present high school football. This exclusive broadcast is being powered by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Get back in the game of life. Manhattan Pizza, now serving Ashburn, South Riding, and Leesburg with the best dang pizza in the world. Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Game Day Broadcast Network. Diamond Sports Training, train with DST Performance today. Bellator Sports Memorabilia, the premier sports memorabilia store in Northern Virginia. EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end zone camera system on the market. The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care. Quarterback University, take your skill to the next level and enhance your future today. By Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. Max Muscle, partners in health. Atlanta Bread Company of Sterling. Come for the food, stay for the culture.
Welcome back to Game Day All Access. I'm Andy Hayes, joined alongside my good friends here and colleagues Bruce Bornarth and Madison Summers here right at DST, Diamond Sports Training. All right, you guys ready to go?
I'm ready.
The Huddle? Listen, this is a segment that people, they like this one, Bruce, because you typically say something that makes people really mad. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You said you got notes, which has never happened.
I'm not making anybody mad this week.
You're gonna be happy-go-lucky, Bruce, this week.
That's right. Okay. Just put the fence right up there.
Right up on the fence. All right, time for Inside the Huddle. Let's send it over to our quarterback here. What's the first question? What are we playing today, by the way?
This is for you and buy or sell. Best team in 5A North is Tuscarora.
Ooh, this is a great question. Best team in 5A North. Now, you're saying that 6-0 Tuscarora is better than Briarwoods, Stonebridge, North Stafford. This is a tough one here. I think the jury is still out on this one. I'm going to say sell right now because they have to beat Briarwoods to convince me. I think that's, and Broad Run's a tough team too. They've done it thus far, but I'm selling at this point because I think they have to beat the top dogs here in order to show us that. Don't you, Bruce? What do you think?
I have to sell it as well. I'm not saying that Tuscarora isn't in the conversation and may very well be when it's all said and done. But Tuscarora is in the mix of Madison, did you give him my notes? He listed the teams, every single one of them, literally, that I had written down.
Yeah.
Broad Run, Stonebridge, North Stafford, and Briarwoods.
Right.
I think that's the pool right there. I think that's the question. I think one of the exciting things to find out is there's a dog race in that division right now.
No question.
And let's find out who's going to come out of the pack.
Well, and the big thing is I'm actually selling right now. They're playing the best football along with North Stafford in 5A North. I think that can be said right now.
I think North Stafford.
Are they the best? I mean, meaning are they the top team to beat? I don't know about that yet because we have to see how they play against the Briarwoods of the world. But as of right now, today, to answer this, you would buy that they are playing the best football in 5A North. So you could buy it also.
Okay, next one, Bruce. Buy or sell. Centerville won't be tested.
This may be the easiest question we've had in a long time. I'm buying that all the way. Just look at the stats. Look at the numbers that the Wildcats are rolling up.
You look in the camera and tell Westfield that they're not going to test Centerville this week. Tell them right now. Tell the Bulldogs.
Wait until we get to the picks of the week.
Tell them.
When we get to the picks of the week, you'll hear it from
You're saying they're not going to get tested.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think Centerville's going to get tested.
I'm selling. I personally, I think the two teams in this area that can certainly test Centerville are Lake Braddock and Westfield. And Westfield could have beaten Lake Braddock very easily. Turnovers in that game costing them dearly. No offense to the Bruins, but I don't think you look at Westfield like everybody else. What they've done defensively this year is impressive. And I'll tell you what, you start looking at the playmakers that they have, and it's very similar to what Centerville has. So I don't want to hear about not getting tested. Centerville's going to get tested this week. This week, Bruce.
Are you doing You're doing that game, aren't you?
I'm doing that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one for you, Andy.
Okay.
Best rivalry Westfield versus Centerville.
Well, it's starting to shape up like that. It hasn't been there for a while. 0-11, we saw it. It was huge. I'm buying this. I think it's the best rivalry in the area. I do, because I think the games are the best, in addition to the fanfare leading up to it. Whereas in other games, you might have great student sections like we had at Bornarth and Stonebridge, but the game hasn't been that close. I think this rivalry is pretty even here.
I'm selling it. Many reasons. One, it's just this year. It's not a rivalry. Rivalries are about everybody but the players on the field, more so than that. The rivalry is the student bodies, is the bantering and everything back and forth. And how can you have the best rivalry when you can't even decide from week to week, is Westfield's best rival Centerville or is it Chantilly? Who knows? It all depends on who they're playing that week. When I'm talking rivalries, I go old school, long-standing ones. I mean, these that I'm going to say don't exist anymore. Loudoun County, Loudoun Valley, Parkview, Broad Run. Those were real rivalries in the day. I think the ones that have stood the test of time and really stand out right now, you have to go the Bird Bowl, Liberty and Fauquier.
Or Lake Braddock Robinson.
No, not even Lake Braddock Robinson.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No.
Bruce.
The best rivalry that has stood the test of time in the Northern Virginia area up in here is Oakton-Madison. That's the rivalry in this area.
But you can't compare that to Lake
No.
Robinson.
No, you're comparing, and you're making the point of quality of play of the game on the field.
The whole
and the
package,
players.
not just half of it.
I'm talking about the rivalry, the hype, the hatred, everything back and forth. You telling me that any one of these is better than Oakton Robinson? I'll tell you, you're crazy.
Listen, first of all, you said Oakton-Madison.
That's what I said. You got Robinson in my head. It's Oakton-Madison.
Second of all, the Westfield-Centerville rivalry is every bit as good as all of them right now. It didn't used to be.
It's not
before Chris
Oakton-Madison.
Haddock got there. Okay, come to the game Friday night. You can have the night off and come look at what's going to go on Friday night. Trust me, it's the best one going right now. Watch. There you
Andy, go. Buy or sell. Robinson is a dark horse.
Oh, they're a dark horse, but not for very much longer. People are going to know about Robinson coming up here in the next couple weeks. I'm buying that they're the dark horse to potentially challenge in the Concord District. You heard it right here. Don't sleep on Robinson. Don't sleep on him. Dan Meyer he's laughing all the way right now to the bank because this is what he's saying. He's going, nobody's talking about us. They're going to Madison, who hasn't won a game this week. Now, their schedule strength is, questionable. But they're going to be 5-1 most likely after this week. And Bruce, who's talking about them? Nobody. They're sitting in the middle of our set right now with their helmet. Nobody's talking about the Rams. That plays right into Dan Meyer's hands. This club, I'm telling you, they play tough, hard-nosed football, and they got one of the premier players in Joe Wilson. How can you not say that they're a dark horse?
I agree. I'm buying this. Robinson is a dark horse at this time. Let's just hope that the roller coaster is still on the way up there. But they are a legitimate dark horse. I think Oakton is also a legitimate dark horse right now.
I tell you this, I think, and I said this a couple weeks ago, and you remember I said it right here, Robinson could somehow sneak up on one of these teams, meaning, Oakton, Westfield even. They always play Westfield tough. Trust me, this team and the Rams could get in the middle of this Concord race.
Bruce.
At least for number 2. All right, I'm conceding Centerville is going to win it.
Okay.
All right.
Bruce, buy or sell. The quality of play watered down.
I'm selling it all the way. What would water it down? You look at some of the performances this year and some of the numbers that have been put up. How can you say the quality of play is down this year? I don't get that.
Well, I think, we have some great teams. I'm going to buy this right now. I think we've had so many new schools open up, in Loudoun County especially. There's been so much transition. Look at down in the Gainesville area with Battlefield and Patriot. Okay, a couple years ago, Battlefield won the state title in 6A, okay, or Division 6, or whatever you want to say. And they're struggling this year because half their school left and went to Patriot, who's now sitting at 4-1. It's watered down a little bit because of the growth in the area. Now, where I'm from, in Oklahoma and Texas, they didn't split schools like this in half the state. And by the way, the other half that did split the schools, they don't ever win state titles anymore. Because the Tulsa schools, and I'm sure some of you have heard of Jinx, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Washington, Owasso. This is kind of where I grew up playing high school football. They stayed as big schools. They just kept adding levels up on top of the school. Whereas other parts of the state kept duplicating schools right in the same neighborhood. Well, just by attrition alone, their sports success started to fade, and the schools with the bigger amount of kids continue to have more and more success. That is kind of happening here on a lot of levels. I really feel like when this area finally settles and they quit opening schools every couple of years, especially in Loudoun, and allow to have some bigger schools, not just 1,800 kids, but how about 2,800 kids? Why? That's not a big deal. They do it in Fairfax and it's just fine. I think that the sports and the success, not just in Ashburn, but all over the area, will then start to skyrocket. So that's my personal opinion.
The argument I would make contrary to that on the other side is look at the number of guys playing college ball now. Look at the number of D1 players. Look at the number of guys in the NFL from Northern Virginia.
I'm not saying the quality's bad. It's just a little watered down when you start seeing some of the perennial powers start to struggle. They just don't have the same number of players they've had in the years past. Battlefield's a great example. I think they're still a great program, but a lot of their class is over there playing for a different team now.
Okay,
it's natural.
Let's move on to the next one. Andy, buy or sell? Two-way players a liability?
Yes, buying this all the way. Even though as a coach, I would do the same thing. Because you take your best players and you say, you got to help us on both sides of the ball. But when you get into the postseason, that can become a real problem. Because if you lose a guy, you don't lose one position, you lose two. And I think the teams right now that are playing a lot of guys both ways and having a lot of success, don't get me wrong, I think it's great. But they're going to face a team down the road that doesn't have two-way players. And they've got just as many good players on both sides. There's a level of fatigue that sets in over the long haul. Mike Skinner at Woodgrove talked about this at Media Day. He said the grind. You have to be ready for the grind past the regular season. And that's what happens with two-way players is that grind starts to hit you right at the time of the postseason and so forth. So I really feel like, yes, it is a liability. I'm buying it.
I'm going to sell it. How can you say it's a liability if your best player is playing that position and your best player just happens to play another position on the other side of the football? Yes, you run the risk that you lose two positions if one guy gets hurt, but you can't go into football, especially football, worrying about getting hurt. You've got to go play, and if it happens, you deal with it. But I don't think how you can buy this if your best players are on the field. I'm selling.
Listen, we had a conversation before the show started about you agreeing with me all the time, and you said you were on board. And you just
I said I wasn't going to make anybody mad.
You just disagreed with me the
with
whole time. So you have not followed instructions, therefore your chair is up for grabs. If you want Bruce's chair next week on the show, hit us up at GBN Mobile right here on Twitter. I'll consider it. All right.
There's a contest in there.
There's a contest in there. Take Bruce's chair. All right.
I get dinner out of it somehow, though.
Somehow, some way. Time now for our first of two spirit battles this week, brought to you by the Atlanta Bread Company. Now, we're going to let Madison give her wisdom on spirit battle number one as well. And here it is. You ready, Bruce? It's the Cougar Crazies and the Purple Platoon. Now, Bruce, Chantilly did not play well last week against Centerville, but the Purple Platoon showed well. I was impressed with them. They had signs. They stacked the crowd with the stadium with people. They were purple. They were loud. I felt good about Chantilly after that pathetic performance at Langley where they barely showed up. So Bruce, Oakton, who never gets any love, saying, what about us? Who wins this one?
I'm on board now with the Oakton program. I'm a Johnny-come-lately, jump on the bandwagon here with Oakton football team. But look, any team that's going to put a picture of me up in the bleachers like that once or twice, and I'm going to pick against them, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. I'm not that dumb.
Well, see, now you've been giving me a hard time about that, having loyalty to the ones that give Hayes some love out there at the field, and now you're doing the same thing. You're taking the purple platoon.
What's wrong with that?
Smart man. What do you think, Madison? Who wins this one? Now, you could go the other way. You could say anybody that would make a sign of Bruce, I got to go with the other team, right?
No.
No?
I'll go with the team that made the sign of him.
You're taking Chantilly, too, the purple
I am.
platoon. This is a tough one. You know, Oakton, they fill the stands at Chantilly. I've seen it in years past. I'm going the other way. I think Oakton will have a huge crowd in this one because they are more excited about things right now. 4-1, and this is homecoming night for Chantilly. A couple years ago, this went down the same way, and the crowd for Oakton was unbelievable. They were one of the best I've seen in the past 5 years. Cougar Crazies, don't let me down now. You've been calling me out saying, why don't you ever give Oakton some love? Here it is. I'm saying that you're beating the purple platoon this week. There you go. We'll agree to disagree. You're dangerous to agree with him, by the way. All right. Now time for our game of the week, Spirit Battle. And this one, a good one. It always has been. Bruce, earlier, talking out two sides of his mouth. This is one of the great rivalries, period. And the reason it is, you have two great student sections. The Wildcat Nation hosting the Westfield Dog Pound. Bruce, Wildcat Nation was out there last week, but in defense of them a little bit is, you know, they were great for their size, but Centerville's a big school, aren't they? Don't they have just as many kids as the rest of the area in the Concord? Don't they?
It's huge. It's one of the biggest stadiums in the area,
Well,
too.
I'm confused why the crowd was not bigger then. I don't understand. Like, it was a good crowd, but it wasn't a normal, huge crowd for that kind of game. Why? Why do you think they wouldn't be showing up?
Well, what was the distraction? I don't know what movies came out last week.
They did have SATs to worry about, but so did Chantilly.
Did you say it was homecoming weekend last week?
No,
it wasn't.
No, that wasn't it. I mean, is there something else to do in Centerville on Friday night? I mean, their team is the best team in the area, right? I mean, haven't we agreed upon that?
Cruising's out. Gas costs too much now. There's no place to get a good chili dog in Centerville. So what are you going to do?
I don't know. You know, I really don't know what the reason was. But looking at the two crowds, you know, I just kind of felt like the number one team in the area should have the best, you know, and the biggest crowd during that kind of game. Don't you think? I mean, we're there with the big lights, the big cameras. Don't you think they should be there?
You would think so. I mean, if Game Day Nation is coming and featuring you, school, we're coming to your town, you would think that you would show up and be there.
I got to tell you, you know, Westfield last couple weeks has impressed me. Now, they showed up. And by the way, I mean, I'm not to hit on Stonebridge, but Westfield easily won, you know, the Spirit Battle last week. So, you know, who wins in this one? What do you think?
Well, you know, I did the Westfield Stonebridge game, and the Westfield student section was good, but I'm not going to go any better than good. I mean, they were there. For as big as that school is, they didn't fill as much of the bleachers as I thought that they probably should have. Now, they were lighting fires in the parking lot before. I go walking into the game. I'm glad I parked my car on the other side of the parking lot. This is another story. I come into Westfield, and I'm looking in, driving through that lot right behind the press box behind the stadium there, and there's this kid got a can of lighter fluid drawing in the parking lot.
You're just getting him in trouble for no reason.
I don't know who he was. Beat Stonebridge or something like that. I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and all of a sudden, poof, the place is on fire. So that way, you got to give him credit for that. But who wins the Spirit Battle in this game? I'm sticking with Centerville.
Bruce, I mean,
I'm taking Centerville at home.
I got to tell you, I mean, this is just based on what I saw last week. Great crowd, but not quite to the level of the Dog Pound. Not yet. I mean, not number-wise is what I'm talking about. Okay. I mean, again, the crowd that showed up was awesome, but you got to have more kids. I mean, it's a big school, isn't it?
Everybody bring a date.
It's a big school. Who are you taking, Madison?
I'm on your side. I'm going with Westfield Dog Pound.
All right, so Madison's going
She
Westfield.
just picked them because they're bulldogs.
Listen.
No.
Take the Westfield Dog Pound. I mean, they're going to come out and fill the visiting stands. This is a Westfield one. I think Centerville is going to have to come. They're going to have to put a memo out at school or something on the announcements to let people know that there's a football game on Friday night and that their football team's pretty good. Maybe they'll put this on the announcements. I don't know. I'm taking Westfield. That'll do it for our Spirit Battle. Make sure you go by and see our friends at Atlanta Bread Company right up the road. Tell them Game Day sent you. You get 10% off your lunch. We'll step aside for a quick break and show you Football 101 this week with Heritage head coach Reed Prosser. That's next here on Game Day All-Access.
This exclusive presentation of Football 101 is brought to you by EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end zone camera system on the market.
Hi, my name is Reed Prosser, head coach of the Heritage Pride. Today we're going to talk about the staple of our offense, the zone read play. This is made popular by the 49ers, the Redskins run a lot of it, and University of Nevada. Basically what we're doing is we're in a pistol formation, which is a shotgun for the quarterback, and the tailback is aligned right behind him. We have a trip set over here, 3 receivers. That's usually going to shift the coverage or dictate the coverage. And so basically what we're doing is the linemen are running inside zone. So they're just taking angle steps and blocking their zone area up to the linebackers. So he'll be here, we'll work to here, work to here, work to here, stalk, and we'll work up to the will. What's going to happen is this player is unblocked. The defensive end is unblocked. So our quarterback is going to open off of the midline, giving the running back the midline, and run straight ahead. He's going to take a little jab step and then run straight ahead to get an appropriate angle to get to the A gap so he can bend it. The quarterback will be eyeballing this defender. If this defender comes upfield, he'll go ahead and give it, and then we can run the play, and the running back can hopefully get positive yardage. If for some reason the unblocked defender comes flat down the line of scrimmage and takes the running back, the quarterback will pull it and then execute a bootleg. So basically what this is doing is this is giving us an opportunity to gain numbers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the box. We've only got 5 blockers. We have to account for everybody. The easiest way to account for them is by having the quarterback read the unblocked defender. That's basically about it. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your opportunity to talk to you. Yay Game Day Magazine, and this has been Reed Prosser with the Zone Read from Heritage High School Football.
Go Pride! Woo! Yep.
This exclusive presentation of Football 101 is brought to you by EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end zone camera system on the market.
My name is Dr. Felix Yuskin, and both my wife and I own the Spine and Joint Health Center here in Fairfax City. I'm originally from this area, grew up, and went to Robinson High School. Played football for the Robinson Rams there, graduated in '91. One of the advantages that a student athlete has here is the parent always has access to me. So here in our office we have access to, ultrasound, muscle stem, Russian stem, things to strengthen, take the inflammatory response out of the joint process for those athletes so that they recuperate much faster. At the Spine and Joint Health Center, we would like to be your team doctors so that we can go down this journey together, both on and off the field.
The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care.
And we're back here on Game Day All-Access. Great Football 101 segment there with Reed Prosser, one of the great guys in the business. We appreciate him taking some time with us here. All right, it's time now for our picks of the week. We get a chance to dive into 10 great matchups for you across the region and tell you who's going to win. Now, I'll give you a little disclaimer. Don't listen to Bruce. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm in the lead. Bruce, you've got some work to do to catch back up. I mean, it's kind of getting.
Wait a minute. You make it sound like we're in 2 different stratospheres
we kind of
here.
are. We kind of
No,
are.
we're not.
You're choking on my dust right now.
What'd you do last week?
I think I won 8. I'm pretty sure I won 8.
So you picked up 1 game last week.
But that's going to make it almost impossible for you to catch me because every week I'm picking up 1 game. Madison.
First, we have Dominion at Loudoun County.
Dominion at Loudoun County. It's a great game. This is a great game right here. 3-2 versus 3-2. Both teams undefeated in the Dulles District. And listen, Bruce, I mean, you don't get many games like this here mid-season where you got 2 teams still with a 0 on the loss column in district. This is a good one. Who do you like here?
Who have the Raiders lost to?
They've lost to some better football teams.
2 D5 teams, right?
2 D5 teams.
2
that's
D5
right.
teams. They're a D4 team.
Briarwood's in Tuscarora. Go ahead.
The Raiders are going to be just fine. Take the Raiders in this game. It's not as close as Andy thinks.
Okay, so you're taking Loudoun County.
Absolutely.
This is where I pick up another game on Bruce. Take Dominion. Probably one of the most impressive teams on film you watch. Their size, their speed, I like them. Take the Titans. There you go.
Fairfax at Langley.
This is going to be a good one as well. 3-2 versus 3-2. And I checked that 4-1. My apologies. Fairfax only with 1 loss, but Langley coming on. Now, if I were to go based on a few weeks ago, I may have taken Fairfax in this game. But I'm not. I'm talking about right now. And Langley's playing better football overall. I like the Saxons here with Tyler West. Boy, is this young man really something. Take Langley in this game at home.
That's a smart pick over there. Langley made a statement, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that they are for real. They played Stonebridge toe-to-toe. They've won some games that make you stand up and take notice. Langley has had good personnel in the past, but they haven't had the package like they have this year. I take Langley.
Stonewall Jackson at Battlefield.
This is a great game from a year ago now. We talk about thrillers. This was an overtime game last year where Stonewall was able to defeat Battlefield. Don't think that the Battlefield Bobcats haven't remembered this one. Now, Stonewall getting healthy, Bruce. Key thing to mention here, Greg Stroman is back running the offense behind center after missing 3 games. So when we talked about them struggling a little bit, that was why. Their senior was out. Battlefield hasn't been able to finish games here recently. They've been right there, haven't been able to close it out. Hilton got them at the last second a week ago. With that said, I like Battlefield in this game to rebound for one reason. I think that these close games will pay off for them. They're battle-tested, and I still think Greg Stroman and crew a little rusty getting back on track. So I'm taking Battlefield. It's going to be a good game.
I'm taking Battlefield as well. I know not to pick against them in the second half of the season, regardless of who they're playing. You look at Stonewall, though, and you kind of scratch your head because talent-wise, D1 players on that roster, you look at it go, it's as deep and as good and as talented as anybody out there. So why haven't they put it together? If we don't know the answer, they don't know the answer at Stonewall either. Otherwise, the coaching staff would have figured it out. I think that there's just – Stonewall is that team this year that you go, why not?
Well,
and it's just not happening. I understand
Injuries.
that.
Injuries have been key. That's been a big deal.
I think it's a lot deeper than just injuries where the struggles go. It's not a
find
talent issue. Maybe it's chemistry. I don't know.
We'll find out this week. Well, you can't have chemistry when your guys aren't on the field. I mean, that's hard to do. We'll see. If your theory or my theory comes true.
I know I'm taking Battlefield.
I know. I'm just saying. I mean, Stonewall could start to go on a run here.
They could.
What about Hayfield at Yorktown?
Well, this is a great game in the National District. Now, Hayfield, with a big win last week, starting to maybe feel a little better about themselves here with a 1-4 record. Hey, nothing to write home about, but they're starting to get on track. Yorktown is the team to beat still, I think, in the National District. So you got to take Yorktown. I mean, this is always a rivalry game down there. This year, it's Yorktown all the way.
You know, Yorktown has maybe struggled a little bit once they got into the playoffs the past few years. But they are establishing themselves in that district and in their league, so to speak, there. And I think Yorktown is definitely the team to beat in this game. I'm taking Yorktown.
Edison at Herndon.
This is a tough pick right here. And because you kind of want to think that Herndon's going to break through and get the win at some point. They've been close all year long. Now it's homecoming Saturday against Edison, a team that, a couple wins already, but certainly capable of putting it on Herndon if Herndon doesn't play well. As much as I want to take Herndon, it's bitten me here this year a little bit when I have. I just think defensively they're just having a lot of problems. I got to go with Edison in this game, even though I think both teams are relatively even.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me about this pick is that it's homecoming Saturday at Herndon. And magical things happen when you least expect it at Herndon. I'm kind of with Andy. I would love to take Herndon in this game. I was fortunate enough to call the game when Herndon beat Westfield out of nowhere, and everybody's like, how in the world did that happen? But I don't see it happening this year. Edison putting up too many points against that Herndon defense. Herndon offense may score some points, but they're not going to stop Edison.
Next, we have Freedom at Potomac Falls.
This is a great game also in the Dulles District. and I'm sorry, Potomac District, former Dulles District teams. But here you have Potomac Falls at 3-2, and they're kind of looking, like they're making a way towards a playoff run. And then Freedom, who's 1-5, trying to find some success here under first-year head coach Jared Van Ecker. So, this is almost a must-win game here for Freedom. Whereas Potomac Falls, they're coming off their bye week, and they're saying, hey, we got 3 wins in the book, and I think that playing at home matters, and I think Potomac Falls, with the success they're having under first-year head coach Jason Allen, I think that will transpire to a win here. But this game could be pretty close. I like the Panthers in a close one.
I like Potomac Falls the way that they're progressing this year. Seems to be a different attitude over there, a different feel, a different confidence, I guess, maybe, if you will. And I think Potomac Falls is at least at their level, ready to make a jump.
What about South County at T.C. Williams?
Yeah, this is a Saturday game out at T.C. Williams High School. South County, probably another team that we mentioned Robinson as a dark horse. South County, a team in the same light. I mean, they're waxing people, and they've only got 1 loss on the year, and that was to Chantilly. It was a close game. So you got to look at South County as a contender in some sorts, right? Now, T.C. Williams, kind of quietly, also 4-1. Only team they've lost to, Centerville, number 1 Centerville. So this is a great ball game right here. I think this matchup is really something to watch. The only thing I'll say is that I really like the quarterback play of South County. Mr. Sims out there is the real deal. If you haven't seen him play now, go check him out. So I'm going to take South County in this game, even though it's on the road, and they might be a little bit disadvantaged on the athletic side here in this game, because I think T.C. Williams has some tremendous athletes. But I'm going to go with South County. I think they're a little more battle-tested. Take the Stallions in this game.
I think this may be the toughest pick on the board, but I'm going to go with South County as well. The thing that concerns me about that is playing on Saturday afternoon. T.C. Williams, it's their homecoming. They do that. They've done that before. South County, though, when you're used to playing on a Friday night, strange things can happen when it goes to Saturday. Coaches lose control of what you do on Friday night. What are you doing Saturday morning? The whole time thing, it throws your schedule off. That's the thing that worries me a little bit about this. But I'm still going to take South County. I've been impressed with them this far in the season.
What about Oakton at Chantilly?
Well, this is a big game right here. This is probably one of the top 3 games in the marketplace. Now, tradition will show you that Oakton and Chantilly always play close games. Bubba Purcell, who calls all the games for us on the network at Oakton, will tell you that this one is always a nail-biter. Now, last year, Chantilly put it on them. Oakton, a little upset about that. They remember that game. But Chantilly in a different state of mind right now. They're up against the wall. And they lose another Concord game, it's over for them. They're out of the mix here in the Concord race. Whereas Oakton, with 4 straight wins, going into this ball game, have they really been tested athletically aside from T.C. Williams? And we saw what happened in that game. I don't know the answer to that. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this one and go, can they really line up against the traditional, Chantilly, Centerville, Westfields here and run the table through the Concord? They haven't done that here in years past. Here's the one thing that I think is key in this ballgame. I think Chantilly will be as healthy as they've been on both sides of the ball this week as opposed to the last couple of weeks. I'm going to take the Chargers to respond, but it's a close game. And I think Chantilly gets the win at home here on homecoming night. But this is a close ball game.
This is a manhood issue game. This is a character game for Chantilly. Chantilly is experiencing things this far in the season that they've never experienced before, at least in the 10 years that we've been covering or I've been watching Chantilly play. And I think they're kind of licking their wounds right now, and they're in a mental state, in a position that they've never been in before. I like Oakton coming in to win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chantilly didn't man up and put it on them.
Tuscarora at Broad Run.
Oh, the return of Michael Burnett over to Broad Run High School as he takes his Huskies into Ashburn. First time now that Coach Burnett and the staff that left Broad Run went to Tuscarora come back to play the Spartans. Head coach Matt Griffiths has a team at Broad Run. Only 1 loss on the season. They were impressive after they got back from their bye week. They beat Liberty. This is actually after their bye week right here. Heading into the bye week, they had a big win over Liberty. So 52-24. That was the response after the Stonebridge game. A couple things to keep in mind in this ball game. and this is kind of how I look at it. If you're broad run, you got to stop the run. I mean, somehow, some way, you're going to have to stop the running game of Tuscarora. If you can do that, you can win this game. If you're Tuscarora, you have to run the football, and you've got to limit the big plays from the broad run athletes, because they've got better athletes as a whole than Tuscarora does. So they got to play pretty good defense here in this ball game. Tuscarora does to win this one. Right now, I think if you go against Tuscarora, you're going against fate, because for whatever reason, Bruce, this team has a little bit of destiny on their side. The win against Martinsburg showed me something. Toughness. They're mentally tough. I like them to go into Ashburn. They will run the football on broad run. In my opinion, after what I saw in the Stonebridge game, I don't think the broad run defense can stop this running attack with Noah Reimers and Mally Barker, and that will be the difference here in this game.
When we talk about the Division V schools in the area, Broad Run seems to be, for whatever reason, the last school that comes up. It's like, oh yeah, Broad Run's pretty good. I think they're going to prove how good they are this week. I think Broad Run is ready to really make some noise and take that next step. Tuscarora, we looked at them and we thought this is a 1 or a 2 loss season for them. And I think they have Broad Run now. Tuscarora's got Briarwoods later in the season. I like Broad Run in this game. I think maybe more so for the intangibles. We've seen Broad Run play with the quote-unquote big boys and play very well against them. I like Broad Run at home. I think this is time where this coaching staff has learned how to coach in these big games. Now, they're in against one of the best ever in the area, in Michael Burnett, in coaching in big games. Look what the guy's done. Look at his history. But I think Broad Run's ready to go toe-to-toe for him. I think Andy's right. I think Broad Run with the athletes wins this game. I think they do stop the run.
Last, we have Westfield at Centerville.
Oh, the game of the week, and as some have put it, the game of the year. By all means, this is it. If there's one team in the marketplace that has the athletes and the toughness to challenge Centerville, it's Westfield. They've shown that over the years. The Bulldogs hold an 11-3 advantage in this series, Bruce. Look, they're looking at this going, hey, Centerville, who? I mean, come on. This hasn't been that big of a rivalry here since these two started playing back in 2000. But in 2011, that changed a little bit. Centerville came over across town and took the Northern Region title game from them, and they haven't forgotten about that. That really stung. Now, last year, Westfield put it on them. Same crop of kids for Centerville that experienced that lopsided defeat are now juniors coming into this year. They remember, trust me. It's been on the front of their minds since that night. So you have all these different storylines taking place. But here's the one thing you got to understand. So far, nobody has slowed this Centerville team down. I'm talking nobody. Now, if they play extremely well, Westfield doesn't have a chance in this game. Defensively, Centerville is unbelievable, and they don't get enough credit. Defensively, they're giving up less than 7 points a game, Bruce. I just don't know if this Westfield offense can score against Centerville. I really think that's what it comes down to, and I know Centerville will score. I just know that they will score. I'm taking the Wildcats in this one. And don't be shocked if this is a 3-touchdown game. There, you heard it right here.
What did I tell you earlier? I agree with almost everything that my partner said. If there is a team that can challenge Centerville, it's Westfield. But I don't think there is a team that can challenge Centerville. We talked about the gap between Centerville and the rest of the area. I think it's just that wide this year. The only buddy that can beat Centerville is the old Dean Smith line. The only one that can beat them is themselves if they shoot themselves in the foot. Westfield against Stonebridge last week put up, 30 points on them, I think, and half of those came on turnovers. So they didn't score that much against Stonebridge either from an offensive standpoint. So I don't see how they're going to score on the best defense out there.
There you go. You heard it right here. Who are you taking, Madison?
I'm taking Centerville, actually.
All right. Smart girl. That'll do it for our picks of the week. We'll step aside here on the Game Day Broadcast Network. Right after this, we'll return here on Game Day All-Access.
When ice and rest aren't enough, it's time for you to call Robin O'Connor at Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy provides Loudon and Fairfax with the finest physical therapy around. Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.
Welcome back to Game Day All-Access here on the Game Day Broadcast Network. I'm Andy Hayes, and right now I'm joined by the tailback tandem out of Tuscarora High School, featuring Mally Barker and Noah Reimers. Gentlemen, welcome to the set. How you doing?
Good, I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right, congrats on a great start. And that's what I want to ask you. Noah, I'm going to start with you. 6-0 as you guys head into Broad Run this week. What's been the best part about this 6-0 start?
I think the best part is just, all the work in the offseason that we did was just grueling, and it's finally starting to pay off. 2 very exciting wins, and a great win against one of our biggest rivals, County, and I think this schedule has been set up well so that we, can't take a week off, and so I think we feel like we're getting better every week, and that'll hopefully set us up for a good run through the season.
Well, the one thing that's really been fun to watch is the development of you two guys in the backfield. And I think everybody kind of knew about Noah coming into the season. Mally, everybody's starting to figure you out a little bit too, that you can really play. Curious on how you prepare yourself on a moment's notice to come in and step in for him and take those carries.
You have to play at the same standards as everybody else on the team. You just can't take off any plays and just have to play at the same standards.
Well, I'm going to ask you this because you're a senior.
Yep.
And we were at the first ever practice for Tuscarora. This was 4 years ago. You remember this day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You were a freshman. At that practice, they were having to teach you guys the huddle. I mean,
yeah.
You have a perspective that I don't think everybody has over there in the program. Talk to me a little bit about today versus back then and just all the changes that you've seen unfold.
Back then, it was like a new beginning and start of something new and something exciting. And it was fun to be a start of it. And now that we've progressed and now that we're getting big and getting out there, it's exciting.
And it's been an exciting beginning here for this year. And obviously, a lot of young players still on this team. You're one of the few seniors that's playing quite a bit here. Noah, you play both offense and defense and special teams. I mean, I don't want to slight you here. Just curious what you like about both parts. I mean, what's the one thing you love about playing offense and defense?
Offense, obviously I like to get the ball. It's always fun to feel like you can change the game at any point, I guess. And then for defense, I like just getting after the ball carrier, I feel like defense is just, a bunch of guys just going crazy and getting after the ball. And I feel like defense, you can really let go of yourself and just go crazy. And where offense, you have to be a little more focused and a little more, cool. But with defense, you can just go wild and go after the ball carrier.
Mally, you've been watching number 4 run quite a bit, I know, for the last couple of years. What's the one thing you admire about his game as a tailback yourself?
That he takes no plays off. Like after practice, he runs extra sprints just to stay in shape for the game.
So, Noah, tell me about the student section of yours. What's it like to look up on Friday nights, see the Tusky Terror up there jammed in the crowd? What do you think?
The Tusky Terror is amazing. Honestly, it's come a long way. I remember freshman year there wasn't a huge fan section, but starting last year there's just been a huge wave of students just coming out every game, getting crazy. Before the game they're yelling the "I believe that we can win" chant, and that always gets us excited at the beginning. And we know right when we come out of the tunnel at the beginning of the game that they're going to be excited, and it makes us excited. Everybody loves to play in front of a big crowd under the lights, and they're always there and they're always cheering us on, and they have our backs no matter what.
Well, Mally, I know that you're getting some interest from the colleges and people are starting to see your film a little bit. What are your desires after high school? What would you like to go do?
I would like to get into a college in Virginia, and I would like to study physical therapy.
Okay. How about football? Would you like to play football?
Yeah, I would like to play football.
Yeah. I mean, any schools that have been your favorites growing up?
I like the ODU and VMI and stuff like that.
Okay, good deal. How about you, Noah?
I want to go somewhere with great academics, my parents instilled that in me when I was young, so I'm looking somewhere like an Ivy League or somewhere with that level of education that I can go to and play football.
Well, I can tell you this, you know, I'm feeling kind of old because back in the day, I called games for your older brother,
Yeah.
Jack.
Yep.
And that, you know, this gray hair is not on purpose here. Just curious about the I guess the family tradition here and how Big Brother looks at what you've been doing here this year and prior years at Tuscarora.
Yeah, they both tried to get me to go to county, but you know, I kind of wanted to do my own thing. I think that was a big thing I went through in 8th grade was I just deciding if I wanted to go to county, kind of follow my brother's footsteps, or if I wanted to go to the new school and, you know, start something new. And I think I just, you know, I was kind of tired of being Jack Reimers' little brother. Like, I kind of just wanted to go off and do my own thing, and I think, you know, they have always been encouraging with me, and they've pushed me like crazy. They toughened me up when I was little. They beat me up all the time, and I think, you know, at that point you're like, I hate them. But, you know, when I look back now, I you know, I love them. They, you know, built me into the person I am now, and they really, you know, pushed football and pushed being tough and being a man.
Do you ever come home after a game when you make a great run, like the one in Martinsburg where, you know, all of a sudden the guy's about to tackle you and you make him almost come out of his socks with a great juke move? You ever go back and say, hey, big bro, let me show you something here? You ever do that?
There's a little bit of that because, you know, he would always, when I was, you know, 7th grade, 8th grade, and he'd always show me all the stuff. I was at every game, so I'd see all of it, you know. But it is nice to, you know, show them what you can do, you know. You're always looked at as their little brother, and they beat you up and stuff. But to show them what you can do out on the field is nice, and you can, you know, show off a little bit to your family.
I'm sure there's quite a few conversations going on at the dinner table. Mally, tell me a little bit about this team and what you feel like is special about this team.
I think all the hard work we put in is what's special about this team. And, like, even during the off season, we start the day after the season's over, and we don't end until the start of the next season. And we work hard and the entire year, all through the summer and everything.
Well, there's certainly a lot of people paying attention to Tuscarora football right now. It's 6-0, and you got a big game coming up against Broad Run. Noah, if you could maybe set the mood of the team for everybody. What are the, you know, feelings out there amongst all the players with this undefeated start and all the attention coming to you? Where's this team at right now with their mindset?
You know, I think we're excited, but we're hungry. You know, we know, you know, 6 wins is great, but we want to get as many as we can. I think, you know, being undefeated so far is a great achievement, especially with our schedule, but there's a lot more work to be done. And I think, you know, we're all looking at it like that. We're not, you know, we're not happy with 6 wins. We're not happy with 7 wins. We want to go out and get better every week and make a run, and that's what we're aiming for. And, you know, I think we are happy but not satisfied.
Well, listen, you know, we have to put you on the hot seat a little bit here. We finally, you know, get you into the studio here, and I got to ask you, you know, if all the people out there watching this kind of wanted to know something that they normally wouldn't know about you, what would it be? I mean, superstition, music. Come on, Mally, what do you have for us here? What's one thing people would never know about you? Give us a little insight into Mally Barker.
Oh, I do like country music.
You do?
Yeah.
All right, we can hang out there. Yeah. Who's your favorite country singer?
I don't have a favorite one, but I like all that country.
All right, how about you, Noah?
I go to the Academy of Science in Loudoun County. It's the magnet school for our county. You know, I take academics really seriously, and just as like a superstition thing before the game, I like to be completely by myself, silent. You know, a lot of people are listening to a bunch of music, going crazy, but I just like to be, you know, I like to get focused more than, you know, getting rowdy and stuff like that.
All right, so listen, all of you out there from Tuscarora, leave Noah Reimers alone before the games. It's working. Don't come up and talk to him. Guys, best of luck this week against Broad Run. Continued success to both of you.
Thanks
for being here.
Thank you.
That'll do it for our feature interview today here on Gameday All-Access. We'll step aside for a quick break. We'll show you the top 10 plays from last week right here on the Gameday Broadcast Network.
The top 10 plays of the week on the Gameday Broadcast Network are proudly presented by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Gameday Broadcast Network.
There's the option play. David Sidnor, the quarterback, pitches it to Kearns. Uh-oh, ball's loose. fumble after the big hit, and it's Centerville football.
Boy, Nickens' eyes are just lays out. Burns. It was a tough pitch. He couldn't handle it. As he's bobbling it, he has no idea where the defender is, and Nickens' eyes are just decleats him. Ball comes loose. We'll see it right here. Too much pressure on Sidnar. As soon as he gets control of it, he's hit. Ball's on the ground. It's all Centerville Wildcats on top of it.
Murray back to pass, quick pass to Jolly, across the middle down to the 40, 35, 30, still on his feet. Jolly, Michael Jolly, see you later, Alligator, touchdown Lancers.
There's the hand up. No, it's actually Smith this time. He's going to take it. Look at him. He just busts one loose. He's inside the 30, inside the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Tuscarora. Oh, my goodness. Daniel Smith with a terrific run.
Kick is up. It's blocked. And that's number 8, DJ Lomax. He's going to pick it up. He's going to run with it. Finds his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Bruins.
He will take the snap and drop back. He fires, looking for Whitaker. He's caught it at the 45, and he is going to be gone. Touchdown, Adam Whitaker, and the Sharando Warriors on the board again.
Second down, 5. Walter under center. Gives it to Xavier Nickens. Eyes are left side. He's got some running room. Cuts back at the 20. Move it to 15. Up on his feet at the 10. He's going to score. Touchdown, Wildcats. Second of the day for Xavier Nickens.
Well, you got to tackle Andy. And once he got to the second level, there's a couple opportunities by the Chargers secondary to make a play there. He broke 2 tackles. Second touchdown of the night from 35 yards out. It's the same play. It's buck sweep. Pulled both guards. He finds the seam. He makes a nice play here. Gets by Tommy Vance, and then quarterback misses the tackle as well. And Nickens' eyes was 2 for 2 in the end zone.
Jimmy McLaughlin, who had the touchdown pass negated from the pass interference ball, throw across the ball's picked off by Alex Schultz. No, it's by G.J. Smith to the 45, to the 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. It's a foot race, 25, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Oakton!
4-man rush. Thompson across the middle, in and out of hands of Purcell, picked off on the deflection by Westfield. Back at the 40, across midfield, down the sideline. Blockers in front, at the 20, at the 10, untouched in the end zone. Touchdown, Westfield Bulldogs, Rashawn Rice. Touchdown! Took it off the deflection, and that's 2 long returns on turnovers for touchdowns for Westfield.
See them getting ready to go here. There's the kick. Going to be taken by Roebuck. He bobbles it a little bit, picks it up at the 10-yard line. And he breaks a couple of tackles. Look at him go. He's out past the 30, out past the 40. There he goes. No one's getting him. It's Roebuck to the house. Touchdown, Huskies.
Direct snap, Daly. He dropped it on the ground, picked up by a Bulldog. This one's going 95 yards the other way unless somebody runs him down. 20, 15, 10, goal line. 95 yards later, 6 for the Bulldogs of Westfield High School. Carried by James Gibson.
Thank you for watching the Verizon Wireless Top 10 Plays of the Week on the Game Day Broadcast Network. For more coverage of Northern Virginia high school football, visit us online at GameDayMagazine.com and join the network today.
Welcome back to Game Day All-Access. It was great to catch up there with Noah Reimers and Mally Barker here, 2 great tailbacks at Tuscarora High School. We wish them well here this week against Broad Run. All right, it's time now for the Game Day mailbag. And you know what? The mailbag is filling up. We really appreciate all of you out there who have been sending us your tweets and also your questions via email. Again, if you'd like to tweet us your question, you can do so at GBN Mobile. Or if you want to email us, you can do so by just simply sending an email to GameDayMagazine@AOL.com. All right, let's go ahead and hit the mailbag this week. Madison, what's the first topic of conversation?
Our first one's from Hunar B. Kunu. Which schools in the area have the best student sections and why?
Well, this is a good time, I think, Bruce, to definitely talk about who's good, who's not, right? I mean, who's been impressive, who hasn't been as impressive.
I can tell you who's good.
Okay, listen. Last year was really clear-cut by this time of the year. We've seen a lot of school student sections have great home crowds. But then when they go on the road, it's like they're not even there. Like somebody forgot the bus, driver, and they couldn't leave the parking lot. I mean, it's been unbelievable. I mean, I'll say this. Sorry, Madison, but the Stonebridge crowd last week, I mean, after the Broad Run game where they filled the stands, they were gone last week. There was like 20 of them. What is going on? So I don't even know right now. I can't even tell you who the best student sections are, but I'll try.
This hurts you, doesn't it? This bothers you.
It hurts me, man. I should know by now.
Well,
don't you think?
But it bothers me too with the schools that high school goes by so quick. And I understand when you're 14 years old or whatever you are, 14 through 18 going through high school. That's almost a third of your life to that point, and it seems like forever. Believe me, when you get down the road and you look back on how fast that was, you're going to kick yourself if you don't take full advantage of everything there is to offer. And a huge thing to grab a hold of is your sports teams. It's the spirit. It develops camaraderie between you and your classmates and the friends you hopefully are going to have the rest of your life. Believe me, you're missing the boat. And when you get old like the two of us, it hurts.
Not go that far. I mean, don't throw me in the same station wagon you're in. Hey, listen, here's who I'd rank
so far. It's a minivan. It's not a station wagon.
That's an old term, right? Nobody calls it a station wagon anymore. All right, so here's how I kind of see it right now. The top student sections that have shown me that they not only will go to a home game, but they will also go to an away game. I've seen the Bruin Nation do that this year, big time, for Lake Braddock. So you get some props, Bruin Nation. You've been awesome this year. Now, the other team that I think, the other student section has really impressed me coming into this season, which I was a little shocked, but Oakton seems to be really traveling on Friday nights home and away. So the Cougar Crazies kind of get a little love from Hayes right now, because I've seen that in all the pictures. No matter where the game's at, they've been there. So I've been impressed there. Certainly the big ones always show up at home. I mean, but Westfield didn't travel to Lake Braddock. Chantilly didn't travel to Langley. The Wildcat Nation's been traveling, but not as much as I think they should have more kids. I don't know where the rest of the school is. So I can't give it to them. I don't know. Bruce, you had one in Percival, right?
I'm going to go, it says list 3. I'm going to go Lake Braddock. And why? Anybody that can climb that hill and go up to a football game and go through that has got to be into it and really like it. And I like Woodgrove, what I saw a couple of weeks ago. Another one I like that I wasn't at, but I've heard people talk about is Langley. Langley, apparently, I've heard, is really into it and getting it done over there. But, of course, who am I going to put on the top of the hill right now? Despite a little lapse of maybe not traveling once, got to go Chantilly and the sign people, baby. Love you.
Oh, you're killing me.
The sign's coming. You know what I loved about the sign? Not the because I was right about the turkey and the thermometer and stick a fork in it. But did you see the guns on that picture?
Okay, let's
look. That's not these babies right here.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on to the next one.
We gotten way off track.
We have one from David in Centerville. What team has the best defense in the northern region?
Well, you only have to drive a couple miles away, David, because it's your team. The Centerville Wildcats have the best defense, hands down. And I think that's why they're a legit chance. They're a legit title contender to win a state championship. I mean, they're suffocating on defense. I mean, Chad Wiggins and Tyler Love and Jake Bainey, and those guys have been unbelievable. And you go watch them, and they hit you in the mouth all game long. And they almost take your breath away a little bit as an offense, because here you are, and you catch a ball thinking you're on an option pitch, and boom, you get laid out. And that's just the way they play, and it's non-stop. And I feel like right now it's Centerville on both sides of the ball, but defensively they are the best defense I've seen so far.
Next one from Scott in Woodbridge. Which player in the area deserves more attention from college recruiters?
This is a great question, and there's always some guys at this point in time during the season where they're not getting enough love from the colleges, and I don't understand it. I think so many times college coaches have this size-making model thing that they are afraid to go outside of. They don't want to take a chance on a guy. And again, you know, my old man is a college football coach, so I know why they don't want to do that, because the pressure to win is way more intense at that level than it is at this level. So you miss on guys that are risky, you may not be there very long. So there's a little bit of that. But I think if you had to pinpoint a couple guys in this marketplace that I feel like are big-time college football players, I'm not talking about just, you know, Division I AA, I'm talking about big-time college football players. The first guy is Tyler Thrasher Walker. I think he is by far one of the top prospects in this area. In my opinion, with his size-making model and his resume now of busting great, you know, runs and showing speed, he's the guy that should have a list of offers that are 15 deep. Now, that's just my opinion. Now, maybe it'll happen, but Tyler's that guy. He's a smart kid. So, to me, he's a no-brainer. He's not a risk, in my opinion. Right? I'll let you name one.
I would agree with that completely. I mean, well, he's got the frame and he's got the body for it. I would agree with you in that. But I'm going to go the other way a little bit. Sterling Daly, Stonebridge. I watched him run the ball the other day. Nobody catches him on the wide side, and he's got that little show you the leg, take it away move, and he's gone.
Rayshawn Smith from Chantilly. Find me a better lockdown cover corner in this area. There isn't one. He shut down Charles Tutt last week from Centerville. Didn't catch a pass. That's how good he is.
You want to talk corners? Mitch Chris Falusi at Briar Woods. Doesn't get a lot of love, but shuts down half the field.
I'll stay here in Loudoun County, out in Leesburg. Mally Barker. Watch Mally Barker run the football. He is one of the best tailbacks in this area. Just coming on late. I'm telling you right now, he's a college football player. He's got the whole package. He can run. He's got big legs, so he can take, you know, he can fight off tackles. Guys just bounce off of him. He's an impressive football player. I think he's a college football player. You got any more?
Good calls.
No? You're done?
No more?
All right, that's it. I mean, there's a
we
lot
could
of
go
guys.
all night.
We could go all night long.
We'll make this a weekly segment. Yeah, we'll throw
Who's
in
on
some
the
more names
recruiting
next
radar?
week.
There you go.
Let's move on to the next question. Cole
Just getting
McCrane.
on a roll here.
Cole McCrane, 23. What underdog could potentially knock off a top team in the region?
Well, there's a couple guys that should be worried about Robinson coming up here on their schedule, and they will be considered an underdog when they face the Westfield and the Centervilles here in the Concord. Certainly, I don't think anybody's going to challenge Stonebridge in the Liberty. I think they'll have that. For Briar Woods, you know, obviously up-and-coming Tuscarora is going to be a big game. Broad Run is a big game. I think they're kind of set on their schedule here. I don't know, Bruce. I think Robinson's that one underdog that could get some folks here when it's all said and done.
I'm reading into the question that says knock off a top team in the region. So do we not take that to mean postseason?
Well, okay, so last year Oakton beat Centerville.
That's exactly where I'm going.
That they could do that.
That's where I'm going. Oakton and Battlefield. They're traditional underdogs that just seem to get it done every year and come up, the teams that you can't count them out. Oakton, they lost the last 4 games or 4 out of the last 5 last year. Go to regional championship, I think it was.
Yep, that's a good point. That'll do it here for the Game Day All-Access episode number 6. Bruce Bornarth, Madison Summers, great job. Make sure you tune in on Friday night. A lot of great games here at Westfield. Centerville, is it the game of the decade? We'll find out. It's coming up here Friday night. We'll see you next time here on the Game Day Broadcast Network.
The Game Day Broadcast Network is proud to present high school football. This exclusive broadcast is being powered by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Get back in the game of life. Manhattan Pizza, now serving Ashburn, South Riding, and Leesburg with the best dang pizza in the world. Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Game Day Broadcast Network. Diamond Sports Training, train with DST Performance today. Bellator Sports Memorabilia, the premier sports memorabilia store in Northern Virginia. EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end-zone camera system on the market. The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care. Quarterback University, take your skill to the next level and enhance your future today. By Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. Max Muscle, partners in health. Atlanta Bread Company of Sterling. Come for the food, stay for the culture.